Greetings, everyone. I am Jeff Sansucci from the University of Maryland Alumni Association. It is my pleasure to be the first to welcome you to today's Alumni Association members-only broadcast. The Alumni Association does have a couple of upcoming webinars for you to mark your calendars. On June 10th at 12 p.m., we'll be holding a webinar on How Leaders Speak, the Fundamentals. On June 24th at 12 p.m., we'll be holding a follow-up webinar on How Leaders Speak, Advanced Instruction. However, now I would like to introduce you to today's presenter. Jason Levin founded Ready Set Launch LLC after a career in brand management at Unilever, consulting at Accenture, and employer branding at Vault.com. Career and business coaching is his passion, and he guides executives and mid-career professionals of all backgrounds through career transitions, even into retirement. Jason works with his clients to land the next job, promotion, career change, entrepreneurial venture, or transition into retirement. Jason enjoys speaking on and moderating panels and presenting career development seminars and webinars at staff retreats, conferences, and training sessions. Jason has appeared on WTTG Fox 5 and CTV News and has been quoted in the Wall Street Journal, Money, Fortune, and Market Watch on career and business-related topics. Jason received his MBA from Georgetown's McDonough School of Business, is married to a lovely redheaded attorney, and has 2 redheaded boys. It is my pleasure to welcome our presenter, Jason Levin, to the broadcast.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to be here. Really appreciate what the TERP community does, what the Alumni Association does. And to get a better sense on who's on the line right now, it'd be great if you could run the poll questions, please.
All right, so I'll launch the first poll question. How many years of experience do you have? 0 to 2, 2 to 5, or 5 to 10? Okay, we're at 76%. Okay, 76% has voted, and it looks like it's capped at that. Okay, so Jason, we have 78% said from 5 to 10 years, 15% said 2 to 5, and 7% said 0 to 2.
Okay, great.
Okay, let me launch our second poll for you. All right, our next poll is, are you satisfied with your personal brand? Please select one. Yes, no, or I am not sure. I know what my personal brand is. Okay, 85% has voted. 91. Okay, so we have 71%, Jason has said, I am not sure I know what my personal brand is, with 16% saying yes and 13% saying no.
Okay. Well, you've come to the right place.
Yes, sir. And we will launch our final poll. And it is, I want to improve my personal brand to achieve a promotion at work, make a career change, or raise my profile in my industry/field. Okay, 85% has voted. And Jason, the results are 88% has voted. We have 73% said that they would like to raise their profile in their industry or field. 23% might like to make a career change, and 3% would like to achieve a promotion at work.
Okay. That's great. Perfect. Well, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much, and welcome to everybody on the line. So let's get into the grocery store to define your personal brand. Just a little quick background on me, a little bit more on why I do what I do and why I really enjoy what I do. In 1990, the recession of the time really changed things for my 2 younger brothers and myself. We were growing up with our parents in northern New Jersey, and my father, who was the sole breadwinner of the family, lost the only job that he ever had. He was working in operations for a garment manufacturer. And so my brothers and I and our family, we quickly became aware of the uncertainty and unpleasantness that comes with unemployment. We went from a family that went on vacation to a family that was shopping in food pantries. My brothers and I went on the school's free lunch program. And so as a sophomore in high school, I became the wackiest teenager you ever met. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know why people succeeded, why people got jobs, why people lost jobs, why did people change careers. And so I did the next natural thing that I thought would help me understand these questions. I got subscriptions to the Wall Street Journal and Fortune and Forbes and started reading about opportunities. The families I was babysitting for, I asked them about their careers and what they like to do. If we were friends in college, I was your friend mock interviewing you and helping you with your resume and your internship and your job search. And so while I have no HR background whatsoever, in the organizations that I've worked in, I've always been a partner to HR, always a partner to recruiting and professional development, in understanding who can we bring in that fits with the organization. But what about the people that didn't fit? Where was it that they went? And so throughout my career, always been interested in mentoring, professional development, recruiting, interviewing, and hiring. And so why I do what I do now, full-time career and business coaching with Ready, Set, Launch. So our agenda is going to cover 3 core areas. Consumer brand, what is consumer brand? Translate consumer brand to personal brand, and then use your personal brand to advance. And given what we have on the line with 5 to 10 years experience, the predominance of the people on the line, those that are unsure about their personal brand, 71% that responded to that, and then 73% talking about raising their profile in their industry, and the second talking about career changes. These 3 core areas will help you do those types of things. So let's begin with consumer brand. So we're surrounded by brands all the time. You've woken up this morning, you've had breakfast, maybe a cup of coffee or some tea. You've already interacted with a whole host of brands. Let's take the classic definition of what a brand is. This might sound like a marketing class, but for those that didn't take marketing or need a quick refresher, we can do that now. So the classic textbook definition of a brand is a promise of a service or an experience. So the way that AT&T provides reliable service or not. The way M&M's melt in your mouth, not in your hands. The way Volvo delivers safe cars, or KPMG delivering an audit. Promises of services or experiences are at the core of what a brand is. And those that are managing those brands are very, very interested in delivering perceived value to your consumer. So everybody here on the line has their own preferences, their own views, how they perceive things. And so the perception of value is the most important piece to what it is that you are delivering. The brands that we enjoy, the brands that we care about, the brands that speak to us are unique and authentic. They're real. They're consistent. They deliver on a daily basis. And we know what they're about. And so every time that we expect something from them, they deliver on that experience. And so there's a level of trust and loyalty with our best-in-class brands. Now remember that the value that is delivered through a service or an experience comes in the form of 2 types of benefits. There's functional benefits and there's emotional benefits. So a functional benefit could be the warmth of a jacket, or a drink quenching your thirst, or a soap cleansing your skin. But the emotional benefit is, does it share my values? Do I like it? Does it speak to me? So does the warmth of the jacket come from an Under Armour jacket, a North Face jacket, an LL Bean jacket? The drink that's quenching your thirst, is it Honest Tea? Is it Gatorade? Is it Coca-Cola? And certainly the soap that's cleansing your skin, and something that I enjoyed when I was working at Unilever, I worked on Dove. I worked on Dove lotions and creams and soaps. And so not only did Dove get you clean, but also it had an emotional point of view that all women are beautiful. And the Real Beauty campaign that put real models on the advertising, the Self-Esteem Fund that partnered with the Girl Scouts talking about young girls' empowerment. And so delivering value comes not only in the actual service or product that's being provided, but how you feel about that. And so in a lot of ways, how is it that you get customer loyalty? And that begins with the ATR framework. So now we're moving from Marketing 101 to MBA marketing. And in MBA marketing, you learn the ATR framework because you just don't want any customers. You want the best customers, the customers that love you and will buy you again and again and then tell all their friends and family about you. And so the ATR framework is as follows. The A in ATR is about awareness. So who knows about the brand? What is it that they think about the brand? How is it that it comes into one's consideration set? And there's two types of awareness. The first is unaided awareness. This is the highest form of awareness. So if I were to do a poll question on name all the breakfast cereals that you can think of at the top of your head, and you start writing in breakfast cereal names like Special K and Life and Mini Wheats, those brand managers would love you because that is at the tip of your tongue and something that you already know. The second form of awareness that's just under unaided awareness is aided awareness. So if I were to ask you, have you heard of Kashi? Have you heard of Rice Krispies? And you say yes to those, then that's in your consideration set as well. What's outside of this are brands that we have not heard of. And frankly, I couldn't name any cereal brands that I haven't heard of because I love cereal. So in a lot of ways, marketers want to make sure that you are aware of their brands and that you are constantly being reminded about them in your mindset. Then what marketers try to do is to take you from awareness to trial, to get the brand into your hands. And so when you go into the grocery store, the shopping store, there's a reason why they're sampling. They're not just sampling to get you to come in and give you a snack. There are specific brand managers that want to get the brand into your hands, to engage with it, to try it, to see if you're enjoying it. Does it match with what you're looking for? And so a lot of what happens in grocery stores is a lot of trial activities. A trial activity could be somebody standing and giving you the brand. A trial activity could be a coupon that pops out right next to the brand while you're looking for it. And so getting people to engage with the brand is an important piece in getting your brand out there. And then the joy comes, you go from trial to repurchase, where you've engaged with the brand, you've enjoyed the brand, and now it's one of your brands. You're loyal to it, and you're going to look for it and get it again and again and again. The ATR framework is a very powerful framework for brands, and as we go through this, through your own grocery stores and where you're being shopped for, we're going to be thinking about ATR for yourselves, especially those that are looking to either career change or raise their profile within their own industries. So as we do a deeper dive within the grocery store and different types of retail outlets, recognize that there are many different reasons why a consumer or a shopper would go on a trip. So it could be a fill-in or a quick trip where you're just getting toothpaste at CVS. A stock-up trip where you're going to refill your pantry. We could be going to a BJ's or a Costco. A specialty trip where you're buying a car or something of very high value. Or a browsing trip where shopping is entertainment, where there's no further joy than just going out and window shopping. And so as you're thinking about ATR, there are a whole host of reasons what you're shopping for and what channels you're using. And so this is 2015. It's not just the physical channel. Digital is alive and well. Online commerce is a very real option, as you could be getting things same day from certain types of grocery stores. Amazon and Google are trying to give you 1-day or 2-day delivery depending on where you live. And so as people are selecting their brands, they're also selecting the channels, the retailers, of where they shop for them. And so in a lot of ways, the act of shopping is never ending. And I thought it'd be interesting to do a quick case on a brand that ignored its loyal followers, despite the fact that it had great awareness, it had great trials, it had great repurchases, but they decided to make a change. Let's talk about that. So I don't know about you, but growing up, orange juice has always been in my family's refrigerator, and Tropicana at that. Now, if you've been following the orange juice category, people are drinking less and less orange juice. This has been a trend in America for the last 10 years. So the folks over at Tropicana said, all right, we need to switch things up. We know that we have really great juice. Our loyal followers love our juice, but let's do a refresh just on the packaging. We'll just change that just to show everybody, and maybe we can get people more engaged with juice. And so they came up with what was known as the Squeeze campaign. And the Squeeze campaign did the following. Its functional attributes was the juice itself. So you can see that it's moved from the straw in the orange to the glass of juice. And so that's the functional communication. And then the emotional communication was around, well, what happens when you squeeze? And so they had families hugging, and moms and dads and kids, and brothers and sisters, and grandmas and grandpas, all hugging and drinking juice together, as if it's one big family activity. Well, guess what happened in the 6 weeks following of this new campaign? The most loyal followers, the ones that really cared about Tropicana, went to social media and said the following: this packaging is ugly. This packaging is stupid. This packaging is bargain store brand. One person commented, don't the folks over at Tropicana actually realize who drinks their juice? So they did the next natural thing after receiving all of this commentary over 6 weeks on social media. They went back to their original package. The agency that created the package had to apologize. It was so disastrous. And in marketing literature, the Tropicana package case is very similar to, and those that can remember, when New Coke came out over 20 years ago, when they tried to change their formula. But Tropicana didn't stop there. They recognized that they had something, that its core consumers, its core shoppers, recognized and identified with the orange and the straw. And so in their sister line of Trop 50 packaging, which has less sugar in its juice, they started flirting with some transparent packaging. And it was working well. And so a couple years later, they went from orange and the straw to a transparent package and evolved. Now, if you go into the grocery store, you can actually see them playing with the transparent packaging, the orange and the straw, and where you live, because they recognize how important, how much people love the orange and the straw. And so over a 5-year period, even though it was bumpy, they were able to evolve, and all they had to do was change the packaging. So let's take these lessons of consumer brand and make you the brand, and all the important elements that come from it, because I think there's a lot of things that we can be learning from this. And I believe that there are essentially 4 elements to a strong personal brand, and to define your own personal brand. Recognize also that as you're defining your personal brand, this is a process. So the first way that we need to think about personal brand is going back to the founder. And so the founder of personal brand is Tom Peters, the management guru. And in Fast Company in 1997, he wrote a really great article called The Brand Called You. And if you can make a little note on the side, I highly recommend that everybody read The Brand Called You. because it is just as relevant as it was in 1997 as it is in 2015. For the purposes of this webinar, I've taken a quick snippet of the article where he talks about, starting today, you are a brand. You're every bit as much a brand as Nike, Coke, Pepsi, or The Body Shop. To start thinking like your own favorite brand manager, ask yourself the same question. What is it that my product or service does that makes it different? And so as your friendly brand manager, an alum of Unilever, let's talk about how we can better understand your personal brand and points of differentiation. So going from consumer brand to your brand, there's essentially 4 essential elements. You too have emotional and functional benefits. You too have packaging. You too have consumers and shoppers. So your benefits that you're providing to others, your attitude, your reliability, your image within your organization and within your industry, your skill set, your relationships, your achievements, the things that you've done that are benefiting your colleagues, your vendors, your clients, are all important benefits that you are servicing and delivering on. And the way that you deliver your benefits is through packaging. Your nonverbals. Are you providing eye contact all the time? The language and gestures, the confidence in the way that you provide that service. And of course, when you think of your own consumers and shoppers, what are the trip missions that are coming in your direction? Are there daily tasks? Are there cross-functional projects, strategic projects, special projects? What are the shopping opportunities that your consumers and shoppers are coming to you for? I had done some trainings for a trade association with people that had been in the organization between 3 and 10 years. And I had them go out and get feedback from a few of their colleagues on how they were doing in their own personal brand. And one came back to me and was stunned by the response. He had thought that they were going to be talking about the quality of his work and his responsiveness and how detail-oriented he was, things that he valued. You know what 95% of the response was? How easy he was to work with. He smiled, he was engaging, he was level-headed. And so he had a very important personal brand recognition opportunity that here are people perceiving him in a way that he thought just came natural, but guess what? That's a gift. When you have a gift, you don't value it because it comes easy to you, but everybody else valued it because there were some tough times on the projects he was working on, and the way he was able to deliver was quite impactful. So I just used a very important word in the personal brand process, and it is a process, and defining your brand is all about feedback. It's about feedback and having self-awareness moments so that you can recognize what is it that you find important, and do others agree or disagree on how you're delivering those promises. So for some, the feedback experience could make you uneasy. It's going to highlight areas that you would need to improve. But recognize also that it's fun to hear where you shine, and it further reinforces your understanding of your strengths and can reconfirm the value you bring to the organization. Because in a lot of ways, when you're looking for feedback, it can be an amazing opportunity for you to present yourself in a way, especially in the times where you're looking either for a promotion or new work opportunities. I did a piece of work for a VC-backed startup where we spent half the time just talking about how to ask. And one of my biggest pieces of advice is when you're asking for feedback, don't use the word feedback. You can say, how am I doing? What did you like about what I was working on? What would you like to see more of? You don't have to actually do these informal feedback sessions in the office. You can get a cup of coffee. You can go for a walk. But remember that feedback is not a four-letter word. If you're looking for a compliment, then call your grandma, call your best friend. If you're looking for feedback, then it becomes a function of keeping your ears open. Because when your ears are open and you're truly listening, this shows an opportunity for coachability, for curiosity on how you're being perceived, and important market intelligence on what your personal brand is, so that you understand what the current perceptions are, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and where the priority areas are to improve. Because we can look at ourselves in a mirror in one way, but the reality is the reality, and that is in the people that you're engaging with that are consuming and purchasing your personal brand. So as we begin to think about the personal brand baseline and understanding what a personal brand is, feedback is a really important piece to all this. I was working with somebody in finance, and she was about 5-6 years in, was doing great work, and you know what the feedback for her was? Again, not on the technical aspects of her work, she was doing great. She was told she didn't smile enough. As ridiculous as that sounds, she didn't smile enough, and so her colleagues were afraid of her. And so that seemed to be holding her back from getting certain types of projects because they didn't think that she was actually enjoying her work enough. And so in a lot of ways, personal brand is also important in your packaging and how you put out your best professional you. So then, okay, so then you get your feedback. Then it becomes a function of, okay, so if you're getting feedback from your supervisors, how can you then manage this? So once you get your feedback, whether it's in a formal performance review or informally, you should set a date out, 3, 6, 9 months out, to check in and to see how you've evolved. And so the first thing you do is you thank them, but the second thing is, okay, let's use this as a litmus test the next time we talk and give me some time to work on this. And so for yourself, you want to be writing down daily and weekly strategies to make these improvements, because at the end of the day, they are the consumers of your packaging and your product, and every time you deliver it is an expectation of that. And to further understand how you're delivering your personal brand, big fan of reaching out to your colleagues, and colleagues can be people within your own group, within your own division, people that have dotted line reports to you, so that you're getting a good understanding of what's going on and how you're doing so that you can be truly managing these perceptions. I'm a huge fan of actually writing this down. So I call it a customer needs chart. And your customers are the people that you're engaging with on a daily basis. Your boss, your boss's boss. Your peers, your subordinates. Write down all of their names and then begin to think for yourself, okay, what are their values and work style? How do they like to work? Are there still questions that you need to be reflecting on how they like to work? Do you still not understand that? Do you need to have more conversations around that? Is this somebody that can handle that question directly? Or are they somebody that you just can't be honest with and you need to go to a third party? And who are those people? And so as you more recognize and refine their work styles, how can you align yours to their work style? So it moves from defining personal brand to managing personal brand based on who it is that you're interacting with. So then it becomes a function of, what do you think of yourself? Where is it that you want to go? What do colleagues and superiors think of you? And then just minding the gap. And for those that have been to London and ridden the tube, that's what I think about in terms of personal brand management. So you go from just getting things done to anticipating and recognizing the needs of others and then actively managing your own personal brand, so that if you think you're a creative person and nobody thinks that you're creative, that's a problem. And so that gap needs to be closed. How is it that they define creativity, and how can you be showing that in your work? So then it becomes a function of, okay, so we're aware of our brands. Going back to ATR, we're aware of our own brand, and we want others to be aware of our brand. What is it that we want them to be aware of? What are the types of trial activities that we could be doing to get them to become more engaged with our brand so that we can get the type of work that we want, or we can get more engagement from our overall industry. And so it becomes a function of speaking their language. So many had said that they were either looking to raise their profile within their industry or do a career change. This becomes the most important piece. So you know who you are, you know how you're being currently perceived, then speaking their language is about the target audience. What do they value? How do they like to speak, and where do they do these types of things? What types of trade associations and industry places and things that they're reading, where is it that these people are congregating? And so for those that are career changing, it is no different than taking out your passport and going to a different place and speaking a different language. And for those that have lived abroad, I've spent 5 years in France, it's not just about speaking their language, but the social norms that are around it. And raising your profile is also a language change, because you're looking to show your expertise and raise your profile. And so communicating is extremely important as you're looking to raise your profile. And while the picture shows a megaphone, the megaphone can be living in a whole host of ways. It could begin in your organization as you're communicating with the folks that are consuming your brand in client and prospect meetings. As you're looking to raise your profile in your industry, newsletters and conferences. So if you're a very good writer, there's no reason why you couldn't be pitching an article or a blog on a particular topic that could raise your profile within your industry. What are the 3 or 4 industry associations, either local or national, that care about what you do, and start engaging those types of organizations to raise your profile? Are you a good speaker, or you need to practice your speaking more? There's no better way than sitting on panels or giving presentations on your work. And so the presentations piece, the webinars piece, the articulation piece becomes essential. And it's all about where it is that you want to go and who do you want to communicate towards. So there's an analog piece to this, there's a digital piece to this. So no doubt you want to be using social media, and I don't need to go do a deep dive on LinkedIn. We all know about it. It's been around for at least 10 or 11 years. You're talking to somebody that joined LinkedIn in January of 2004. So I'm member number 141,272. I've seen practically every iteration of LinkedIn. What I would say to you is, if you're looking to raise your profile in your industry, who are the industry thought leaders, and how can you engage them on LinkedIn? How are they talking about themselves? If you're looking to career change, then why not talk to those that are doing the work that you're interested in and engage them via LinkedIn? For me, the fun part would be if you were to go into the advanced search box on LinkedIn, and in the advanced search box you have employer and school and role. Why not look for TERPs in addition to the great services that the TERP alumni community is providing? And LinkedIn can be a great mechanism for you to then see who's out there. And then from there, engage them and better understand how can you raise your profile in your industry, how can you do a career change from the TERP community. Then defer to you on how you want to use your online tools and what's valued. And again, it goes back to your destination, how sophisticated your LinkedIn profile needs to be. Do you need your own website? Do you need to be on Facebook? Do you need to be using a whole host of tools? From my vantage point, either career changing or raising your profile in your industry. Huge fan of Twitter for news. Twitter 101 for me is about news, and a great way to follow the thought leaders in your industry and what they're talking about, what they care about, as well as the folks that are looking to career change and career change towards. And so up till now we've talked about you and how you can be raising your profile and talking about yourself and engaging others. Well, guess what? Brands also engage ambassadors, so can you. And so in a lot of ways, as you're looking to amplify that message, reflect on who are your brand ambassadors. And they could be current and former colleagues that loved your work, not just enjoyed your work, but loved your work. Mentors, clients, vendors. And so these are people that are part of your tight ambassador community. And so remember that you're not alone in all of this. And so if there are people in your industry that are further along and you're looking to raise your profile, engage them and tell them where it is that you want to go. Get their advice and be consistent about it. Because in a lot of ways, as you're moving through your career, and so we have a couple that are first couple of years out, but the predominance are 5 to 10 years. You're kind of at that inflection point now where it's going to move from not just your technical capabilities and how smart you are, but the people of seniority that are going to help you and pull you along. And so brand ambassadors are really important in all of this as you're getting your brand out there. And this is where branding comes in. And look how branding can actually be an analog experience. I think too often we talk about branding and immediately people think social media. Branding can be very simple as understanding who you are, where you want to go. That's brand. The moment you communicate it to somebody else and talk about your goals, that's a branding activity. And so that's the difference between brand and branding. And then they can, these people that you're engaging with can help you refine the ideas that you have on how you want to raise your profile in your industry or do a career change. And so then it becomes a function of how do you make that next step. And so for those that are looking to move up in their organizations, usually I like to ask these types of questions that are looking for an opportunity to move forward. And it's amazing how a 360 review can help you amplify the things that you've done. I was working with somebody at one of the big online coupon sites who had been there from early on and was in the accounting department and was looking for more responsibility, was considering a career change, was considering a promotion. And as we were prepping for his performance evaluation, one of the things that came out were all these wonderful quantifiable accomplishments on how he saved money just by coming up with better sourcing contracts. So to the tune of $2 or $3 million he had saved just by coming up with better sourcing activities. And you sure as anything, that's something that he was communicating in his 360 reviews, in his performance evaluations, and also in the areas that he was looking to switch careers. As we talk about lateral moves and career changes, let me tell you something. Confidence and patience. This takes longer than you think it will. Depending on the depth and the breadth of where you want a career change towards, it begins with believing that you can do this. In your core, believing that you can do this. Because are you ready to work towards something for 12 months, for 18 months, for 2 years, for 3 years? That's the patience piece. When I work with people on a career change, it usually takes longer than they want it to. And so it becomes a question of, do you believe in yourself at your core, and are you patient enough to do the work to make it happen? What makes you happy in your day? Defining right now what puts a smile on your face. So when people are communicating back to you your personal brand, are these the things that bring you energy and things that you actually enjoy? The more that you're looking to make those changes, what are the roles and industries that offer more of what it is that you want to do more in your day? Then your story. How do you bring the themes out and communicate to your destination? The informational interviewing piece talked about earlier. And what they value, the destination, and then skill gaps, and creating a plan to acquire new competencies. I was working with an attorney who, excuse me, who was at a family law firm, was doing divorce law, and hated every minute of her work because she was interacting with people at the worst moment of their lives. And yet, somebody who had an amazing background, had a great undergrad, went to a great law school, almost went to international relations school, but chose to go to law school because in a lot of ways she wanted to support families, support children. She had done the domestic violence clinic in law school and was a big advocate for women's rights. And so she thought family law was the natural extension of that, and it wasn't. And so using these questions and also recognizing that this was going to take time, after 15 months she was able to transfer into a wonderful role at the State Department, working in the International Kidnappings Unit, where Americans marry foreign nationals, and unfortunately those foreign nationals kidnap children back to their home countries. And so it checked a lot of her own boxes and recognized for herself the things that she wanted to do more of, and was able to make that career change because of a personal brand that she recognized for herself as she was looking to make that next step. For those that are looking to add new dimensions to your personal brand within your industry and within your overall world, I think there's 3 great ways that you can be approaching that. I'm a huge fan of trade and professional association leadership. And so what am I talking about? So if you're an HR professional, then you should be in the leadership of one of the big HR organizations like the Society for Human Resource Management. If you're a marketer, then joining the local American Marketing Association. And so raising your profile through trade and professional associations are a wonderful way to get your name out there, and also not only raise your profile in your industry, but actually potentially giving you opportunities to do work that otherwise you would not get in your day job. The nonprofit volunteering consulting piece is around board service. Everybody here on the line should be considering at some point in their careers joining a nonprofit board because, again, it opens your sphere of influence, and you get a chance to engage with others on things that you care about. So whether it be young children or green or the arts, whatever is important to you, use that time to volunteer and potentially even consult. So you're a very good IT person. Then provide IT consulting to a nonprofit for free. Raises your profile. They ask you to do some things more strategic. You get invited to be on the board. And then finally, the freelance consulting project. Huge fan of that. So let's say that you're a really good fundraiser, but you really enjoy doing graphic design, and so you can start your own side business doing those types of things. These things not only can raise your profile within your industry, but also satisfy professional needs that you have, work that you want to be doing within your day. So a couple of parting thoughts as we think about brand and branding. So first and foremost, your internal and external consumers are always shopping. You want to be top of mind when they want to buy, and thinking awareness, trial, repurchase of your brand. And who are those consumers and shoppers? What is it they think? And how can you get more trial activities to be doing more interesting work so that you can be developing customer loyalty? Manage and evolve your personal brand by seeking consistent feedback. It's amazing to me the amount of people that even when I say to them, okay, yes, I got feedback, now what, Jason? Well, make some changes, make some evolutions. Go back in 6 months and ask for more feedback. Even when I'm working with mid-career folks or executives that are 20 or 25 years out, they're like, okay, yeah, I got feedback, but that was over 18 months ago. Well, now you're still flying blind, because in a lot of ways, feedback can be a great market intelligence for you to advance and to further define your personal brand. Anticipate your consumer needs and speak their language, their terms, what they care about. Package your brand consistently in emails, meetings, conference calls, webinars, and presentations. So the act of brand is important on what you want to deliver. Branding is that consistency and clarity in your messaging for great brand execution. And then finally, be authentic, be yourself. Our most trusted brands are ones that are themselves and natural to infinity, and so that you're bringing, again, that level of consistency. If you've enjoyed this conversation, you can hear more. If you're in D.C., actually this Saturday, I just found out I'm going to be on Fox 5 at 8:45 in the morning on tips on how to get your new business off the ground, and kind of speaking to that piece of there are aspects of your personal brand you want to be using more of, but you can't find it in your day job. Feel free to keep in touch. Here's my blog. Here's my Twitter handle. feel free to reach out to me with not only your career challenges, but if there are opportunities within your industries to give talks or trainings and things like that. And I will be more than happy now to take some questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Jason. So we do have a couple of questions that have come in. And the first question is, why does it seem that personal branding is more important today than it was even 5 years ago?
I think the importance of differentiation. I think, when you take 5 years ago, we were in the middle of the 08-09 recession. And so when the sky was falling, people needed to find ways to redefine and differentiate themselves. And so I think that personal brand and personal branding will continue to be more and more important because people identify with brands and they want to identify with people that they get along with. And so I think both the hiring and promotion process has become more discerning as well because of that Great Recession. And another reason why the importance of focusing on your personal brand and personal branding.
Okay. What's the best way to manage your online reputation?
I first think that you should be, one, Googling your own name, and seeing what comes up. So if you Google my name, there's actually somebody in Oregon that is named Jason Levin, who is somebody that organizes all of these anti-Tea Party rallies. I'm political, but I'm not that political. There's other Jason Levins out there that are working for big law firms in Chicago and in Los Angeles. So for you, it's important to carve out your own name and your own photo so people know who you are. Some of the reputation management sites, can or can't do things, but in a lot of ways, a Google alert can see what's coming up on your name to make sure that there's nothing questionable or fishy. And then from there, it's a function of you getting the recognition off of a Google search by putting content out there. And so that's the fun thing about LinkedIn and Twitter is that you can be pushing out industry-related articles and industry-related content that can further associate you with the industry that you want to be associated with. So those are some of the things I think about in reputation management and online reputation management.
Great. And the final question that we had that came through is, what's the single most important thing people need to establish in their personal brand?
I think, getting back to that delivery of promise is, what is your goal? Who are you? What is your goal? And when you can answer those questions, are you the perfect person to be solving those problems? Do you have the credibility and the authenticity to be delivering on those kinds of things? When I think of personal brand, I think of looking at yourself in the mirror. And you know what? The reason I talk more about brand than branding is that not in high school, not in college, not in grad school or in PhD programs, are there classes on self-awareness. Personal brand, and the most essential piece of personal brand, is a high level of professional self-awareness. The more self-aware you are of what you are, what you like to do, what you're good at, you're leading the career you want to lead, allows for you to self-select into opportunities and not. High self-awareness people have criteria on how they decide on things. And so that's really the core of a strong personal brand, is this high professional self-awareness of yourself, who it is that you are, and what your goals and where you want to be.
Okay, and we actually did have one more question that came through. What are your thoughts on endorsement section on LinkedIn? As a follow-up, how effective can the endorsements be for a specific audience when they see it on LinkedIn?
It's a great question. So I think that when you think of brand ambassadors, the first thing I would think about in LinkedIn is getting recommendations. So in the world of rocks, paper, scissors, shoot, I think recommendations trump endorsements every day of the week. When you think about endorsements, this is what I want you to think about, because people are going to endorse you for things that they've never worked with you on. So when you think about your own personal brand and what's valued in the marketplace, what are the 3 to 5 things that are important for somebody that's an attorney in a specific area of law, or an accountant in a particular practice group, or an IT person, or a nonprofit, or wherever that is? What are the 3 or 5 things that you want to be known for? And then when people are endorsing you for those 3 to 5 things, great. But if somebody's endorsing you for a new skill set that you kind of do, but it's not really that important to where you want to go, then don't accept it. And so when I think about endorsements, I again go back to, do these endorsements reflect the personal brand that I want to communicate of where I am and where I'm going? And so you have the right to, 1, say no to an endorsement, and 2, to not show endorsements from people that you don't want to align yourself with. But I do say on the endorsement side, in addition to the recommendations that should be a lot more clear on the things that you're doing, that be highlighting the things that you want to be known for.
Great. Excellent. That's all the questions that we have. I'd like to take the time to thank you, Jason, for addressing all of our TERFs on this fantastic topic today. And I'd like to thank everyone for participating in today's webinar. And please be advised that this webinar is recorded and will be made available to view at a later date, as well as the PDF of the slides that Jason provided. And the details of this will be forthcoming. And also just a reminder that Jason will be presenting on this topic again for members only, as well as the same topic on May 13th at 12 p.m. And I thank you all again, and this is the conclusion of our broadcast.
Thank you, everybody.